Shoney's, the rise and fall of an American restaurant giant. Imagine building one of the largest restaurant chains in America, only to watch it shrink from nearly 1,000 locations to just a fraction of that. This is the story of Shoney's, a restaurant that once symbolized family dining across the American South. Its breakfast buffet became legendary. Its roadside locations welcomed millions of travelers, and for decades it stood as one of the country's biggest casual dining brands. But behind the success was a series of decisions and events that gradually pushed the company toward decline. The story begins in 1947 in Charleston, West Virginia. A businessman named Alex Schoenbaum opened a small drive-in restaurant called the Parquet. A few years later, he partnered with the Big Boy restaurant franchise, and through a customer naming contest, the restaurant became known as Shoney's. At first, it operated as a regional Big Boy franchise, but the company quickly gained a reputation for quality food, friendly service, and consistent operations. The real turning point came during the early 1970s when Schoenbaum partnered with restaurant executive Raymond Danner. Danner believed that customers should experience clean restaurants, fast service, and genuine Southern hospitality every time they visited. Under his leadership, the company gradually moved away from the Big Boy identity and created its own unique brand, complete with the memorable Shy Bear mascot. This transformation laid the foundation for decades of remarkable growth. Perhaps the biggest innovation arrived in 1981 with the introduction of Shoney's famous breakfast buffet. At a time when breakfast sales were slowing, the company decided to offer customers a large all-you-can-eat selection featuring eggs, bacon, sausage, biscuits, pancakes, fruit, pastries, and many other favorites. The idea was an instant success. Families loved the variety, travelers appreciated the value, and breakfast soon became one of Shoney's strongest business segments. Throughout the 1980s and into the mid-1990s, Shoney's expanded at an incredible pace. Restaurants opened across the southeastern United States and eventually spread into more than 20 additional states. By the mid-1990s, the company had nearly 1,000 Shoney's restaurants. Family dining chains. At its peak, Shoney's seemed unstoppable. But success can sometimes hide growing problems beneath the surface. The first major issue was leadership instability. Raymond Danner stepped down as chief executive in 1987 and completely left the company a few years later. Without his steady leadership, Shoney's entered one of the most turbulent periods in its history. During the 1990s, the company cycled through multiple CEOs, internal power struggles became common, and disagreements over the company's direction created confusion. Even members of the founder's family publicly criticized management decisions and questioned the quality of the food. Then came a devastating legal controversy. In 1989, Shoney's faced a massive class action lawsuit accusing the company of widespread racial discrimination in hiring and promotion practices. The case ended with a settlement worth more than $100 million, making it one of the largest employment discrimination settlements of its time. Beyond the enormous financial cost, the lawsuit severely damaged the company's reputation as a trusted family restaurant. Financial decisions only made matters worse. During the late 1980s and mid-1990s, Shoney spent hundreds of millions of dollars on shareholder payouts, acquisitions, and franchise buyouts. These decisions left the company carrying heavy debt. As competitors invested in remodeling their restaurants and improving customer experiences, Shoney simply didn't have enough money to modernize many of its aging locations. Expansion also became a costly mistake. Determined to become a national brand, the company pushed far beyond its southern roots. However, the warm southern identity that made Shoney's successful did not always connect with customers in distant markets. Many new locations struggled to attract loyal customers, leading to expensive closures and significant financial losses. Meanwhile, the restaurant industry itself was changing rapidly. Competitors like Golden Corral introduced larger and more elaborate buffet concepts. Chains such as Cracker Barrel, IHOP, Denny's, and Applebee's offered strong alternatives, while fast food restaurants made breakfast quicker and more convenient than ever before. Consumer preferences shifted, but Shoney's found itself caught between preserving its famous buffet. By the year 2000, years of declining sales, heavy debt, and operational challenges forced Shoney's to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Although the company later emerged under new ownership and invested in menu updates, restaurant remodeling, and a refreshed brand image, it never returned to its former scale. Today, Shoney's continues to operate primarily throughout the southeastern United States. The company still serves many of the classic comfort foods that longtime customers remember, including its famous breakfast buffet, fresh food bar, burgers, fried chicken, country-style meals, and the beloved hot fudge cake. For many families, visiting Shoney's remains a nostalgic experience that recalls decades of road trips, weekend breakfasts, and family gatherings. It sounds like quite the journey for that restaurant. Is there anything else?